Alright everyone, welcome to my guided walkthrough on how to get through Nier Automata on very hard mode. And yes, that's apparently how you pronounce it, because that's how it's pronounced in game. And I'm very happy to bring you this walkthrough, as this is one of my favorite games of the last decade. But it's also in a way a disappointing game, and that may sound like a contradiction, but I will explain in detail throughout this playthrough why I feel that way. And this is definitely going to be quite a challenge, because this game is brutally difficult, and I don't use that term lightly. In fact, I would say that the list of games that offer an even greater challenge is certainly not empty, but also not very long. When it comes to this game's difficulty options, there is a very peculiar kind of imbalance, because the gap between the four settings is kind of ginormous. I would go so far as to say that the easy and normal mode in comparison to the hard and very hard settings is almost literally a completely different game. So if you've tried this game on very hard yourself, or if you haven't and wonder what the experience is like, then the following clip will basically show in a nutshell what the experience is like.
Why did you kill my...
However, the strange contrast to that is that the normal difficulty setting is so ridiculously easy that even for the most casual gamers who play for the story alone, the experience will be something like this. Yeah, it's quite a stark contrast. And if your first playthrough like mine was on the regular hard setting, then it more or less started out like the first clip, but slowly became more like the second one once you got overleveled with 99 healing items. But none of that in this playthrough. Let me show you how to get through this game when every single thing that touches you results in a one-hit death, with checkpoints that can be like 20 minutes apart. So we're going completely balls to the wall here, or veg to the windowsill if you prefer, and I will explain in detail what I do to survive Nier Automata on very hard difficulty. I'll shut up for the first couple of minutes, and then as soon as we get control of our character, let's delve into the mechanics of this game.
Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
This is Command. Yorha Squadron, come in.
2B here. All units have penetrated the stratosphere. Autopilot systems green across the board.
This is Operator 6-0. All units confirmed.
We've passed the 50-kilometer threshold and are proceeding toward the target.
Understood. Once you reach their anti-air defenses, proceed to manual attack formation. Then destroy the Goliath-class unit by any means necessary, and gather what data you can.
Understood. 12H down. All units activate manual mode and rely on visuals to evade.
Already engaged. Free movement unlocked.
Alright, and we're in control. The notorious Prologue section that consists of about half an hour worth of gameplay without a single checkpoint. First thing I need to emphasize is that I'm using custom controls, as you can see from the indicators on the screen. So please forgive me if I accidentally refer to a button that for you would have a different function. I'll try to consistently use terms like strong attack, fire button, that sort of thing. We're starting off in one of the awesome flying sections. In fact, I would say that if the whole game was like this, I would still have been a fan. Unfortunately, there aren't many tips to give for these sections, because it all boils down to having sharp reflexes and not losing your focus amidst chaos. One of the most important things is to make good use of your melee attack, that spinning energy sword move. In most flying bits you'll see me doing that constantly. This and the strong attack that I'll hardly ever use is the only way to get rid of the darker projectiles, whereas the lighter ones can be destroyed with your regular machine gun. It's also great for when you are surrounded, which happens a lot because this is a sort of bullet hell after all, and enemies will show up unannounced from all sides of the screen. Unfortunately, the thing that is extremely unfair is that you are not always invincible during camera transitions, so you need to keep attacking during those transitions. Which makes absolutely no sense and is a major dick move on the designer's part, but it is something you have to deal with. Fortunately, it's not so bad in the prologue, but later on in the flooded city, I actually got killed at the exact moment when I literally had no control over my character. I suppose it's because Yoko Taro is sort of insane, eccentric. The general rule of bullet hell is that the only part of the screen that truly matters is where your character is. So that's where you need to focus your eyes. What isn't near you can't kill you, at least not yet.
2B to Operator 6-0. All allied units down. The operation is compromised. Awaiting further orders.
Operator to 2B. We need you to rendezvous with Unit 9S and begin gathering data on the local terrain.
Understood.
Okay, we're entering the facility now, and here we encounter another technical problem that plagues this game. The hit detection. I actually have footage of me dying here when I visually never touched any obstacle or wall. So make sure to move further out of the way than you would think to be necessary. Other than for cutting the dark purple bullets, the spinning attack also allows you to attack all around you instead of just in front of you. And it's also a stronger attack than a machine gun. So as you can see, I can take enemies out before they even have the chance to attack. And always keep in mind that transitions are not a place for you to rest. They should be, but they aren't. You will encounter these flyers multiple times and you can never know whether they will use lasers or regular bullets, and they can also spin around. So don't get careless just because you are in between the turrets.
Alert. Heavy damage. Standard flight legal estimated. Activating short-range attack gear. Alert. Large enemy group detected.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Alright, there we have our main lady. Time for melee combat. Unfortunately, because the game starts out with this incredible gauntlet of a prologue, I'm going to play pretty much everything on safe here. So for the most part I will be relying on pod fire and creating a sort of safe area around me using the strong attack of the greatsword. If multiple enemies fire at you at once, try to keep them behind each other as much as possible. And remember that pod fire destroys the lighter bullets, but not the darker ones. Okay, a very important move in this game is the counter. After you get that flashing dodge animation, immediately attack for a counter, which in most cases launches the enemy into the air. Use light attacks in the air and a strong attack when the enemy falls back on the ground.
Enemies destroyed.
Not quite.
Alright, the first boss encounter against Karl Marx, or at least a mechanical arm named after him. Although for 2B the name is scrambled. This boss has essentially only two different moves, but he can do those at two different speeds. You will want to stay a bit to the front for the horizontal attack, so that you won't get crushed between the blade and the wall behind you. Although the strange thing is that you can actually still dodge even when you should get crushed. However, if you stay near the front, then you might not even need to dodge, as you can see here. I'll go into the spammy nature of dodging later on.
Laser communications recovered.
For the vertical attack, the blade will come right to where you are currently standing. So move to the side immediately as soon as it comes towards you. And while you are attacking, keep an eye on your surroundings because of the bullets that fly all over the place. Fortunately, you can take this Kami down rather quickly. It's only the first boss after all.
Better make sure he's actually dead next time. That was dangerous, man. You're 2B, right? My name's 9S. I'm here to provide support.
Copy that.
So, was that big old buzzsaw the Goliath you came here to take out?
No, just another defensive system.
Oh, well, I guess we have to find the target then, huh? I've got a flight unit, so I'll take a look around the perimeter.
All right, I'll work my way inside from the ground.
Alright, so that was the first boss encounter. So you'd think there would be a checkpoint by now, but no. Not for another 20 minutes or so. So for that reason you will see me ignore a lot of enemies, at least the ones that can be ignored. Like my other playthroughs, these videos are edited, so this is actually my second attempt. I already died once before. So speed is a bit of a priority, in fact in general, because this is a walkthrough after all. So if you ever think, how the hell is he doing this without ever getting hit? I do get hit, but I am not leaving all of the deaths in for the sake of brevity. Although there will be instances where I will show how I died, so you have the opportunity to learn from my mistakes. Having said that, it's still the case that large portions of the game have to be executed flawlessly, and the prologue is one of those sections. So yes, you will need to get through all of this without ever making a mistake, and that's quite a tall order. Now when it comes to the melee combat, I will go into more depth in the next part, because for now I'm just trying to make it through the prologue. So let's talk about the nature of dodging first, because that's going to be a major part of this game. And there is a major misconception when it comes to dodging, because you may want to say that the dodge is rather overpowered in this game, as you can sometimes almost endlessly dodge through a whole flurry of attacks by just spamming R1, or circle in my case. But let me tell you, the first rule of playing this game on very hard: spamming dodge does not mean that you are invincible. If you think that you can just spam dodge whenever an attack gets near you and you'll be safe, then you will be constantly dying and screaming in frustration, "How did that hit me? I was tapping the dodge button like crazy." There is a difference between the dodging in this game being spammy, for a lack of a better term, and being invincible as long as you're mashing the dodge button. Those two things are not equivalent, and this game will fuck you sideways if you think they are the same thing. And unfortunately, it's rather difficult to explain how it does actually work. And what's worse is that it's not even all that consistent. But I'll try to explain as best as I can for different attacks from different enemies. Okay, these are mandatory enemies, so we have no choice but to fight them. Make sure to not let them surround you, and as a general rule, strong attacks from the greatsword work very well against groups of smaller enemies. For flying enemies, keep running in a circle. Their projectiles don't home in on you, so as long as you keep moving, they will always hit the ground behind you and you can focus on whatever is in front of you. In other words, as long as you don't run into a bullet, they will be unable to hit you. Okay, this part is a bit tricky. Try to take one of the machines near the door out first, so you can be relatively safe here in the corner. But as you can see, you are not completely safe. So keep an eye on the left side of the screen while you take out the others on the right. And here you see why it would have been a good decision from the designers to include a lock-on function. Wait, there is a lock-on function in this game, but for some nonsensical reason it's only available on easy and normal. You know, the settings on which getting hit doesn't even really matter that much.
You know, ma'am, I'm glad you're here.
Why?
Scanners like me mostly work alone. Scouting out enemy lines and all that. I don't usually get a partner. It's kind of fun.
Emotions are prohibited.
Sorry, ma'am.
And another thing, stop calling me ma'am.
Huh?
It's unnecessary.
All right then. 2B it is.
As you can see, I don't bother killing these enemies, so for the parts where you are moving fast or you can't see ahead of you because of the camera angle, make sure to make good use of the minimap.
This place sure is big.
I guess humans used to use it as a weapons factory, but now it's just crawling with machines. The enemy seems to have repurposed the facility to increase their overall machine production.
So if we don't destroy it, they'll just keep coming.
Okay, here I don't take the risk of running past the enemies, so I just keep the enemies on the bottom in a straight line, so I can focus on the bullets coming from the top of the screen. And as I said before, the minimap is a very useful tool when you can't see ahead of you. Enemies can move really fast, but you usually see them on the map before they enter the screen.
Sensical data from the old world. There's no actual meaning behind anything machines do.
Thank you for another day of hard work. Please enjoy the job well done.
Alert. Bulletproof apparatus detected on enemies. Close range combat is...
Other than close range combat, the laser pod program can also destroy shields from a distance. But especially for smaller enemies, strong attacks from the greatsword work even better. But for the larger enemies, the laser will also knock them down. And as a general rule, when facing multiple enemies, it's best to not try to kill them all at once, but instead destroy one by one, focusing on the one with the shortest life bar. And as I mentioned before, counters are very powerful moves which temporarily immobilizes an enemy by launching them into the air. But as I said, I will go more in depth when it comes to melee combat in later parts of this walkthrough. Okay, top-down perspective. Get to the side of the enemies so that they are almost in a straight line, and then take them down one by one. In other words, you want the area of projectiles to be as narrow as possible. Alright, now be aware that there are enemies on both sides at once. So now projectiles come from the top of the screen as well. Okay, I don't feel safe here, so let's move around a bit. The same principle applies, keep the enemies in a line. But this time focus on bullets coming from the enemies on the other side of the room.
I surveyed the entire factory, but couldn't find anything resembling our target.
Maybe they, I don't know, moved it somewhere?
Is that?
You mean the birds? Yeah, there's more plants and animals here than there used to be. Probably because the environment's changed.
Okay, so far so good, but still no checkpoint or opportunity to save the game. And now there's a final boss fight consisting of several stages, and this is going to be the hardest part.
Across that bridge. It's a bit of a hike, but should we check it out? It's not like Command to get a location wrong. I guess even they get bad intel from time to time, huh?
I wouldn't bet on that.
Okay, 2 saw blades this time, and they are rather fast. When it moves vertically back and forth, you want to be in front of it when it's at the other side. Rather straightforward. But here's the important thing. Keep away from the very left and very right edge of this area. The hit detection over there makes no sense and the saw will kill you without actually touching you. So avoid those sites at all costs. Now the second one joins in. Wait for what move they are going to use. Okay, they do the same thing, so same principle applies. But now there are two of them. They are very fast, so dodge when they get near, just to be sure. Okay, they move straight sideways. This is one that you can in fact just survive by spamming dodge. But move backwards again to avoid the other one. Fuck, I almost get crushed. But fortunately the dodge animation has some very massive range here. Nevertheless, that almost went wrong. This stage ends when their life bar is halfway down.
Is that?
Target enemy detected.
And there we have Engels, named after German philosopher Friedrich Engels, co-founder of Marxism. You would think that aiming for his head would do more damage, but it's actually not a weak point at all. However, firing at his head will allow you to destroy the majority of the bullets coming towards you. When he fires missiles, aim the camera down so you can see where they are going to land. When he punches, it's never the same arm twice, so immediately dash back after dodging. And if you can, get some hits in, because his blades are his actual weak point. For the double punch, you are safe as long as you're in the middle of the arena. Fire at his face again, and remember that only the bullets that come close to you matter. If it's not near you, it's not a threat. And each bullet moves in a straight line, so it's not like they can home in on you.
What's your status?
This is the target. I'm going to destroy it.
Right. I'll provide support.
Alert. Incoming enemy attack from below. Proposal. Evade.
Okay, when he smashes down, there is a small shockwave around it that counts as a hit, so don't try to dodge it. Preemptively get to the other side. Yes, it can be dodged, but it's not all that safe.
Packing in.
Boost!
9S! "9S!
9S black box signal detected. No response to communications.
I'm going after him.
Okay, be careful here, because there are several smaller enemies and your vision can be obstructed here.
Negative.
It has happened to me before that I took a hit when both 2B and apparently an enemy were not even visible. When you get to the top, several enemies will drop down, so don't let your guard down expecting to be safe. And remember, taking a single hit means going all the way back to the very beginning of the game.
To help 9S. I have to repair him. Pod, get me staunching gel and logic virus vaccines. Then access the...
Inadvisable. The subject's vital signs are too poor to attempt field repair in
Shut up!
current...
Just do what I say!
2B. Just go.
You shut up too.
We're soldiers. We take pride in our service.
HO-229 Flight Unit. Command 677 received. Usage rights transferred from 9S to 2B. Requesting acknowledgement.
Please.
All right.
Alright, back into the flight unit. You may not be aware of this, but you can completely fly around angles, which is an easy way to avoid his arms. He can turn around of course, but you can easily see his attacks coming this way. His most dangerous attack is this Aoe Field, but it only becomes active about a second after it appears. When he shoots missiles, keep in mind that they track you. So if you can't fly all the way around, you are basically forced to dodge through them.
Talk? I didn't know the machines had that kind of intelligence.
2B.
And this time I can outfly them, if that's a word, by just keep moving sideways.
The control on the enemy's upper arm. Use your pod. Should be able to take it over.
I told you to shut up!
Control of upper arm.
Okay, now stay left so the laser won't hit you and keep firing to destroy any bullets in front of you.
Seize its control system.
Affirmative. Infiltrating enemy subunit. Behavior table adjusted. Balance controls overridden. Enemy unit subjugation complete.
Okay, final phase. Attack immediately. Dodge through his attack and keep going. 3 hits will finally end this grueling ordeal. And congratulations, you've beaten the prologue without taking a single hit.
You just die already!
Talk about bringing the battle to them. 2B.
Contact command. Request assistance.
No. It doesn't look like that's going to be necessary.
Oh, great.
I don't imagine that this is going to end well. The black box. It's ready.
Right.
Requesting destruction of enemy hostiles via black box reaction.
Request accepted.
2B. It was an honor to fight with you. Truly.
The honor was mine.
Alright, that will be the end of part 1 of this walkthrough. We finally reached the first checkpoint in the game. Yeah, that was quite an ordeal, but the game has only just begun and I have a lot more to say and a lot more to show you. This was just the introduction after all. Please leave a like, tell me your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe for more. And I hope to see you back in the next episode.
So, mission complete and all that, huh? The Goliaths were wiped out and we secured a route into enemy territory. Now we can...
9S.
Yeah?
Thank you. For uploading my data to the bunker.
I did that? Sorry, I don't remember. There wasn't a whole lot of bandwidth down there, you know? I probably only had enough time to back up your memories. Mine are only intact up to the point just before we rendezvoused.
I see.
Glory to mankind.
Glory to mankind.